reverse, idiot glee,
I love the ones like this.
idiot glee,
Is it finished?
idiot glee.
With a question mark.
There's a question mark.
Maybe you're done. Sometimes we are finished and we don't realize it.
When I ask a question, see how the end of my word went up? Idiot glee or idiot glee?
What wouldn't you do? Man, that's the $64,000 question. What wouldn't you do?
A random set of solutions to problems that maybe you haven't yet encountered.
Okay, so you're at home and it's about 5. You've got these guests coming over at 6, and you decided you're cooking squash soup. That's the main course. You cooked it and tasted it and realized it's thinned out and tastes nothing like squash or like soup or like what you expected it should have tasted like. So what if you used a deck of Oblique Strategie Cards to solve your culinary boredom?
The Oblique Strategies cards are one of literally thousands of rare materials that we have in the music library that document 20th century music. Sometimes you reach a dilemma in the course of any sort of creative endeavor, and you don't know what to do next. It really had an urgency and an edge to it in its day, and you know, getting back to your question, maybe we don't have that urgency and edge anymore.
Alright, okay, so it's a stretch. Your soup is not some crazy art piece that attempts to live up to the art movements of the 60s and the 70s. But you have to wonder, why when you made this dish 3 weeks ago for yourself when you weren't having guests over and it was just you and the cat, did it taste so great?
And again, I mean, where is that today? Where the energy that was put forth? We look at it and we say, wow, that was a great time.
I mean, at that time, you were pissed off because 3 different people had bailed on you. You were disappointed because that meant and reinforced your realization that no one cares and everyone is totally and completely out for themselves. So when you tried to think about what to do if it's just going to be you and the cat, the best thing that came to mind was to create something crazy and abnormal, like squash soup.
It's fine that it's on there, but I'll just stick with the order or like I'll take a lot of time trying to be clever or something, and I think that'll kind of kill the spirit of what these do.
How many should I make, do you think?
Whatever the number is that seems to work for this exercise.
Yeah, so you didn't look at a recipe or anything. Instead, just looking in the kitchen cabinets. It was like, okay, well, what have we got, you know? Where are we at in this place? Because you know how it is. Everything is behind solid wood cupboards that hold cans of things you can't see. You bought and you forgot about. And more cans of the same things you bought more of because you thought you didn't have that thing in the first place.
Humanize something free of error. I've really come to despise perfect things. You know, everybody reads The Inferno, and everybody remembers The Inferno, you know, by Dante, but people don't remember as much the Paradiso. That's the thing without error, and, you know, Beatrice kind of takes over and ushers Dante around, you know, perfect levels of heaven, and there's something, I don't know, not very exciting about it.
At the same time, you just hadn't thought to write the recipe down because it seemed like a thing you could just improvise again the next time. But now, what to do about the boredom of today's dish meant for the guests? When you thought you were just repeating the dish of 3 weeks prior, will you resume the frantic shuffle of the time before to find that weird ingredient that apparently made the thing amazing the first time around? Because at this point, you're at your wit's end and you'll try anything.
To just throw that out in the middle of, okay, so I'm trying to make a decision. I'm trying to make a decision about something, and then this is what I get. Humanize something free of error.
Will you add salt? Will you add apple cider? What will you do to relieve this dish of its boredom?
Trust in the you of now. We don't do that. That's a very hard thing to do, trusting in yourself generally, but especially of the very contingent right now. You want to believe that, in a little while you'll have more information. In a little while it's going to come to you. In a little while, farther down the line or in the future, you'll have your shit together. But the tendency is not to trust in the self of now, even though that's the only self that we have.
So you have to make a choice.
Make a sudden, destructive, unpredictable action. Incorporate.
As to whether the past is a reliable source to mimic for creative inspiration in the present.
We were stuck in a moment. We didn't know how to move the moment forward. It was stagnant. It was a stagnant scene.
Or whether this kind of glance backwards only leads to a failure to see now for what it is.
And I just came up and someone had a glass of water in their hand and they were talking and I just slapped it out of their hands. I mean, they were shocked. They were shocked. The person who was holding the water was shocked that I just slapped it out of their hand. The person who got water all over them was shocked that they were wet. And yet, that shock propelled their next lines.
And reverse, of course. Man, that's an interesting order they came out in. They got up on a roll where they were all it's a conversation. They're all talking to each other.